Oh, and look, I think everybody's seen the video, but in case they haven't, maybe I'll show it afterwards. I don't want to waste too much of the time that I have with you. Is this the first time that you've been raided, guns drawn by law enforcement?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the first time. I mean, I've had law enforcement come to my house again for other stuff that I've had to deal with. But yeah, that was the first time I've been swatted. That was the first time I've had a SWAT team put guns on me. Yeah.
At the risk of asking the obvious, what does that feel like? Because I was looking at the video and I sort of broke it down for people. Like, you don't see anything. They've got high-powered flashlights. You just know that there are people with presumably fingers on triggers, and anything that happens can set it off.
Well, what does it feel like? I was physically and mentally prepared for that moment. I was kind of anticipating it was going to happen after I saw the rounds of swatting and then after our own employees and their families got swatted. So I was kind of mentally prepared, anticipating it. And because of that, I think in the moment, it wasn't like a shock and awe thing. I was ready for it, you might say. As you described, once I opened my door, their blinding lights are shining in my eyes. So I can't really see anything at that point in time. All I can really do is hear their voices. But as soon as, I was just sitting at my home. I live alone. I was alone that night. As soon as I started seeing these flashlights shining in and out of my windows for like 20 seconds or so, I was like, okay, something's up. So I got up, looked out the window. Sure enough, a bunch of cops surrounding my house. And I remember I think I made eye contact with one of them. He looked up, put his light in my eye through the window. And I said, is this for me? Is this for me? I don't know if he probably couldn't hear me or not, but may have been able to read my lips. He was like, yes, come out with your hands up, come out with your hands up. So I was like, okay, I know what's going on. Got my phone, got ready to record. So, I mean, really, in the moment, I was ready for it. I was anticipating it. I knew exactly what I was going to do. So it was kind of just like running a play, if you will. It was like you just kind of kick into a gear, and it's just like you knew this was coming, and now you're just running the play. So in the moment, I mean, it kind of comes across in the videos like I was calm, I was collected, I was ready for it. In the aftermath, watching the videos, specifically the one my neighbor shot, because from my perspective, there's the video on my phone that I shot, which is tough to see much because of the lights. Then there's my security videos, which, are angled basically to just monitor activity in my yard. So it doesn't really give it the full chilling effect that I got when I watched my neighbor's perspective. And they had laser sights on my head, back, and chest. And so kind of seeing that in the aftermath was like, whoa, that's when it really hit me like, holy shit. I mean, I'm a finger pull away from it being over. So in the aftermath, it was a little more shocking, a little more kind of chilling, like, whoa, this actually happened. But, in the moment, we're in the info war. We're in the trenches every day. I've been through quite a lot. I've been persecuted, everything else for my politics. So, I mean, I'm kind of just used to it. I'm kind of just numb to it. I was ready for it. I just ran the play anticipating it. But yeah, in the aftermath, seeing that really kind of put it into perspective to me, like I'm a human again, like, whoa, that was really that was an intense moment.
Did you publish your neighbor's video? I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I put it on my X, I believe a day or two ago. Maybe it was yesterday morning. He sent me some footage the next day, and he is a friend of mine. I'm friends with most of my neighbors. They know what I do. Most of them are fans of what I do. So it wasn't like the neighbors really had any problems. In fact, one of my neighbor came out. He was about to, who ironically enough works at Tesla, and he came out and saw what was going on and kind of started to give the cops a hard time, like, hey, leave Owen alone, leave Owen alone. And they're like, yeah, this is an ongoing investigation, whatever. So they kind of shuffled him away. But yeah, my neighbors, if you pull up my X account, he shot it through his window at his house. And that's where you see all the cops with their laser sights on me. So that's when, in the aftermath, I kind of sat and saw that and was just like, wow, that's really crazy.
I'm trying to see. There's let me see here. I can't find it fast enough. I'll find it afterwards when I won't take your time to talk about it. What time did you get the call at?
Are you talking about what time did they show up?
Well, sorry, what time did they show up? Yeah.
Yeah, it was around 11 o'clock p.m. I don't know the exact time, but it was right there around 11 o'clock p.m.
I mean, it's so comical in a sense, because I don't know how they don't know who you are, and it's not that different people deserve different treatment. It's that they can pretty much assume that they know who you are at InfoWars. You're not going to do certain things. They ask you to lift up your shirt, turn around 360, walk backwards towards the sound of their voice. Then they ask you to get on your hands and knees and crawl towards them backwards.
Yeah, and I know that you're doing a pretty good job actually discerning that audio, because it was a little tough to discern from the video I shot, but that's accurate. In fact, as you were reporting when you first saw it, there was kind of some conflicting orders, and that's why in the one video I'm kind of confused standing there like, wait, what do you want from me? But yeah, basically they said, come out of your house, put your hands up, turn around, take your shirt off, spread your arms, go through that, and then walk backwards, get on the ground, crawl backwards to them. I don't know if you ever tried to crawl backwards, let alone on on a paved road. It's not exactly fun. You get a little scraped up, a little dirty. But yeah, that's what happened. Now, as far as your prior comment was concerned about they should know who I was, when they got the call to the address, I don't even think my name was ever brought up in that process. That's my understanding, is that my name was never brought up. They got a call at an address, and because the call was somebody was shot and killed at this address, they basically just go into whatever their normal protocols, practices are, gear up the team, gear up the SWAT team, get ready and everything to go. I would say it was about, it's tough to hear in the audio again, but there was a moment there, the second time that I said, guys, this is a false police report. This is a false police report. One of the officers says to the rest of his team, he says, hey, I know who that is. I think he's telling the truth. And that was, I think, right before they lifted me up and carried me away from the scene. And then afterwards, there were two officers that were like, hey, we know who you are. And we now understand what's going on. They were apologetic. They felt bad. Obviously, they had to go there. They were told somebody was shot and killed in the house. It was a false police report. But I don't think at any point in the process, until I was there standing next to them, talking to them, did they even know that it was Owen Shroyer of InfoWars or a reporter or anything else that was going on. I think they were just responding to a call of a shooting.
And not to be, I don't know, ignorant or naive about this, but I presume, like, when they punch in your address, they know who lives at that address. They're not just showing up to a house or an apartment and not knowing who the occupant is.
You'd think that. I don't know for sure. It's my understanding at this point, and I'm trying to get some follow-up. It's tough here. Yeah. The Austin Police Department is defunded. They're defanged. They're demoralized. So it's really tough. And that whole aspect of it will lead me to some news that I'm going to break later today on my show. So at this point, and some people are like, hey, you need to be more aggressive towards the police. You need to be calling them out more. They violated your rights. And while I understand that, and it's not even that I disagree, but to me, they're not my problem here. In fact, I need to work with them. And throughout my experience in Austin, the APD has been pretty good to me. I would even say that. So I'm not trying to burn any bridges with the Austin Police Department, because they're victims in this as well. And I'm trying to work with them to figure out what went down here. And it's not to give them excuses, but it's just true. They're defunded, they're defanged, they're demoralized. But
are they also infiltrated? I mean, are they infiltrated? Or the top-down activists, Soros-funded DAs or state attorneys? I don't know what they'd be in Austin, in Texas.
I don't know that. I don't know. It's probably a serious concern, but I can't say for sure. I don't know the inner workings of APD. Like I said, I've had a personal relationship, or maybe it's more accurate to say a professional relationship, with some of the APD over the years, just dealing with other incidents and talking to them. They've always been respectful. Most of them do know who I am, like what we do here. But yeah, I'm sure there's some bad eggs. I'm sure there's some bad eggs in there.
Now, in your follow-up, you put out a 9-minute follow-up video, which also contains some information that I didn't know, that you had the pizzas delivered beforehand to your place, unannounced or unordered. When did the pizzas get delivered in the time frame of the swatting?
So the next morning, the first pizzas got delivered. And then later that night, the second round of pizzas got delivered. So that was the next day, the day after. Swatting. Yeah. And
Okay.
I'm gonna have some more news on that today. I'm sorry I'm not giving you the exclusive on your show. I'm teasing my show coming up in an hour, but I'm gonna have some more news on that and some law enforcement issues coming up on my show later.
I'll help you tease it up. In your 9-minute video, you talked about how the pizzas were ordered from a Papa John's, which was a location 2 blocks from where your colleague Jamie White was just murdered barely 2 weeks ago. I went to look at a map, and it's the nearest Papa John's to the apartment complex where Jamie lived. And my question is, on the one hand, is it the same people, or are they just doing it in a way that they know you'll piece together to extra terrorize you psychologically as to how malicious the people behind the swatting are? Do you, heart of hearts, any indication, or you'll talk about it later, whether there's any connection to this, or whether it's just people doing the bad stuff in the most psychologically devastating way possible?
No, I'll respond to that right now. I do think whoever is behind this is very psychologically deranged and attempting to make this as psychologically twisted as they possibly can, because you got to understand, the week before I went to that spot to go cover Jamie White's murder. I went to that exact spot. I shot a video. I talked to the local business owners to see what was going on as far as the investigation, what they knew. I got some interesting information there. So I was there a week before covering that. And then when I was able to discover where the first pizza order came from, because I was actually here on the Alex Jones show when it happened, I just plugged the address, into a map, and I drove there, and I wasn't really thinking about it until I actually arrived at the scene, and I was like, holy crap, I was just here last week. This is right where Jamie White was murdered. You also had an incident, I think it was a pizza delivery in Minnesota. I could be wrong. I don't remember the location, but there was a pizza delivery, another one of these swatting pizza delivery deals, where the person who got the pizza, it said on the receipt it was from Jamie White. So who's ever doing this is obviously trying to engage in psychologically twisted things. Now, look, I'm a proud conspiracy theorist. I don't hide from that term, but I do think it does appear, unfortunately, Jamie White's murder was a tragic incident that looked like a botched robbery. That's what the circumstantial evidence looks like. That's what the police report is leading to conclude. I would probably agree with that. The area he is in is known for some incidents like that. In fact, he'd been a victim of a recent robbery, same place, same vehicle. So this circumstantial evidence, the investigation leads most people to believe that, yeah, it was a botched robbery. I would still say I would believe that, but I can't help but my mind go there. I can't help now but wonder, was there something else involved? Is it all connected? Either way, who's ever doing these pizzas and swattings is well aware of what's going on. So they're following us. They know about Jamie White's work. I think we've got it just from deductive reasoning and the process. I think we've got a pretty good idea of where they might be getting information from, where they might be getting personal information from, based off of some other things that we're kind of cross-referencing right now with some of the other victims, and then some of the other things I'm going to announce today. But it's hard for your mind not to go there. It's hard for your mind not to go and think, is it all connected? Did it just look like a robbery, but was it actually something else? So it's very psychologically twisted development that all of this is happening at the same time, and these strings are kind of tied into each event.
Well, it is that, like, people not tend to forget, but terrorist organizations always take credit for things, even if they didn't do them. So, like, a natural disaster, they'll take credit for it until you find out it was actually an accident or whatever. And this is a form of terrorism. Well, they'll try to take credit for what is a random murder, or at the very least, just weaponize it and make it as psychologically torturous on everybody else for the purposes of I consider this to be domestic terrorism. I got to ask a stupid question, though. Papa John's, I mean, do they pay for the pizza before it's delivered? Because I didn't think anybody delivers pizza until it's paid for.
No, I think, what we've learned now is these pizza delivery companies, Papa John's, Domino's, most of the deliveries have been Domino's. They do still have a large percentage of their business that is cash on delivery, is what they call it, cash on delivery. So it's still a large part of their business. So you can still place an order and then select cash on delivery. When I inquired further, they're not going to change that policy, because it is still a large portion of their business, as surprising as it may be. But yeah, you can order a pizza, say cash on delivery, and they have to come out and deliver it. Now, obviously, I've contacted Papa John's and Domino's, and I told the local restaurants, if you get an order from this address, it's a false order. So they're well aware of that now too. Now, I will tell you, and this is kind of breaking news. I've been teasing this, but I won't mind telling you this. I've been doing due diligence to try to follow up with Papa John's and Domino's at the corporate level, because when I go to the local level, there's only so much they can do, right? I mean, they're just processing orders all day. So I've been trying to get to the corporate level of Domino's and Papa John's just to find out, hey, have you been in contact with DHS, FBI? Are they trying to get metadata? Are they trying to get IP addresses for where these orders come from? And, give some other answers as well. I have not been able to get through. As you can imagine, it's almost impossible to get through the Domino's and Papa John's corporate customer support. You always end up with a machine. You always end up with them asking for an email or a text or whatever. So I've never been able to actually get in touch with a person. I have been able to send an email to corporate media and customer service relations, and I've sent an email, but I haven't heard anything back. So I'm trying to bark up that tree. And the truth is, that's where the FBI, the DHS, whoever is investigating this, we're hearing from the administration they're investigating this. That's what we're hearing. Yep. I'd like to know exactly, but that's what they need to be doing. They need to be calling Domino's, Papa John's. Domino's is where they should start. 90% of the fake pizza orders are coming from Domino's, and they need to say, hey, we need to locate these orders. I still have my order number because they bring you the receipt with the order. We need to say, here's the order numbers. You need to go into your systems and you need to give us all the metadata that you can get with these numbers. And we need the IP address. And then they can kind of work from there to see if they can geolocate it or get any other information that might lead to the arrest of this individual. But I can't get any confirmation from the FBI. People have reached out there. I can't get any confirmation from the Domino's corporate offices, Papa John's corporate offices. So that's still a mystery element.
Okay, wild. And did I understand that you know the address from which you don't know the address from which the order was placed?
Well, they're ordering it online. So when they order it online, all you have to do is just go to the order information and you can plug in any address, any phone number. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can just make it up. You can plug in any name, any address, any phone number. So they obviously do put my name and address in there, but then they put somebody else's phone number in there. So I was able to get phone numbers, and I thought, okay, this might be a lead, because I was able to get the phone numbers because you have to put a phone number in to call back for the order. And then the phone numbers just went to the Travis County Sheriff's Office. So obviously the Travis County Sheriff is not ordering pizzas for me. That's just the number they put in the system. So I was hoping that could be a lead. Turned out to be dead.
So they don't, I was going to make a joke that it's the Travis County that's swatting you, but I won't make that joke. They don't actually phone back to make sure it's a bona fide order. I don't understand how they don't verify a cash on delivery order in the first place. It makes no sense as a business model that's still in effect. That they don't. There's no verification. It's totally anonymous. And then if they get stiffed with the pizza at the delivery end, what do they do? Just eat it, pun intended.
Yeah, and maybe that's I brought the pizza in here for the crew today for them to eat. So I wouldn't
eat it, Owen, but that's just me.
It will get eaten, I promise you. It's not going to be a Michael Jordan in Utah Game 6 pizza or whatever that was. But no, maybe that's it, because I even asked about policy, and to them it was like, well, we have enough orders with the cash on delivery that we're not going to change anything. But maybe that's one thing they could do with policy is say, we're gonna. They're eating. The crew's in here eating the pizza right now. They could change that policy and just say, hey, we're going to do a follow-up phone call. So when you order it online, we can at least confirm with somebody on the phone that, yes, this is real order. But my guess is in the bigger picture for Domino's and Papa John's, for just their bottom line, this is probably a tiny little thing. Obviously, for the victims of this, it's a big deal. And now they're going to be a part of a criminal investigation. But I mean, as far as them running a business, I'm sure that these fake pizza deliveries are like less than 1% of their cash on delivery. So it's not like they're going to make it a priority. But if it gets worse, they might have to.
That's it. It's the cash on delivery. The cash deliveries is 1% or whatever. And then the amount of fake ones is a fraction of that 1%. So it's insignificant until something terrible happens. So
exactly.
The latest on Jamie White is that they do believe it was a botched car robbery. I know that there will be people who will never believe that, in as much as nobody believes that Seth Rich was, murdered as a result of a botched robbery as well. How is the team? It's at the risk of asking the absurd. How's the team coping, dealing with the loss?
Well, we had a nice memorial for Jamie over the weekend, and I think some of the emotions and the reality of the situation kind of hit there. Here at the office, the most impacted are going to be the writers that shared an office with him, that worked with him every day. For me, it's weird. I mean, I would talk to Jamie, every once in a while. Obviously, we work in the same offices, but I didn't deal with him and work with him every day like the writers did. So for me, it's just walking past his office and just seeing that empty chair, not seeing him there. Or if you're here on the weekend, he sits kind of at the headquarter desks and works directly with Alex on weekends. So that's just kind of him not being there and just knowing it's like he's not going to be there again is just that's kind of the crazy reality of it. We've actually dealt with since I've worked here 3 people suddenly dying. Those were for other issues. There's a car accident, a health issue. So nothing like with Jamie, but we've lost members of the team here before, and the way the guys operate here is just so focused on the mission that it's hard to even get emotional about anything after everything we've been through. But the memorial was sweet, and I think people's emotions kind of came out then. But really, I think for the writers that share an office and work with him every day, that's probably the most difficult aspect of the people that actually worked with him every day. And I mean, as far as the Seth Rich thing is concerned, the circumstantial evidence involved with that's why nobody believes it was a robbery, because there was nothing was robbed. All of his jewelry, his wallet was still on him after his botched robbery.
In Jamie White's case, the individuals or the suspects had been driving a stolen vehicle, which is confirmed as a matter of fact. So they were career or at least known criminals. What was the other circumstantial evidence? In Seth Rich's, his wallet was left there, his watch was there, his phone was there, and he just got shot in the back at 4 a.m. in DC. They don't have any suspects in Jamie White's case yet.
Well, they're probably keeping this investigation pretty close to the chest right now, as it's ongoing. What they believe is there is this gang, and it might just be with young people, or it could be young people that are trying to get initiated, but they target Kias because they know, I guess, they're easy to break into and hot start. So they target Kias for that reason. Now there's probably like 6 cameras on that intersection that if they did use a car to get away, there's about 6 cameras at that intersection, and they can find out what car it is. So that investigation, I'm sure, is still going on. There is a chance that the perps fled on foot, as I documented in my videos when I went out to the scene. There's a kind of a wooded, wild wilderness area behind this apartment complex that's very well walked. Probably a lot of homeless people live back there, so they easily could have fled on foot through that area and not gotten picked up by the cameras. But there is organized crime in Austin. There is gang activity in Austin. They target Kias. That was Jamie White's car. His car had been burgled a few months before at the exact location. The location that he lived at is kind of a hotbed for crime as well. In fact, when I went to the scene, I was talking to another business owner who's right there at the intersection, and I just said, "Hey, have the police came here? Are they interviewing you?" And they said no. And they were actually there that night. They run a health clinic, and they were actually there at 4 a.m. and they saw the scene of the crime and all the cops. And just after that, there was a drive-by shooting at the same intersection. A drive-by shooting happened as the cops were there on the scene with the crime tape for Jamie White's murder. A drive-by happened right at the same intersection that they called into the police. So, I mean, that's how bad the situation is in that area of Austin. I mean, it's bad. This city is, the Democrats they've really effed this city up.
Yeah, well, so I just see one comment coming in from Twitter, which says, why is it so bad even after Trump? I mean, Austin, when I was there for Alex Jones's trial, it was some places were an absolute dunghole. We went to a Walmart. I was like, I went in and out as fast as possible. The parking lot was filled with homeless people. There was the bathroom had been vandalized in the most foul of manners with poo-poo, if you can imagine. And I said, like, it doesn't feel safe. It didn't feel good. You get out into the outer boroughs, and Texas becomes a beautiful place again. And yeah, I was just double checking. There were lawsuits that alleged the class action settlement because Kias were too easy to steal. So it's a bloody tragedy. Oh, and when do you go live this afternoon?
In T-minus 30 minutes, 3:00 p.m. Central.
Okay, and now you're going to be talking about this, and so you've teased it up, but there's going to be more coming in. Everyone is, and I know everyone's just happy that you're okay. I don't fully, think everybody appreciates just how volatile those situations are where you're getting swatted, and I presume you've seen the Daniel Shaver video where, to me, it felt like the cops were giving orders specifically to make him literally trip so they could literally have an excuse to kill him. The orders you were getting, I appreciate. Everyone says this protocol. Got to make sure 360 to make sure he's not armed, back towards me so you don't get ambushed. Part of me would just want to lie flat on my stomach and just make him come, make him come to you, cuff you, because Lord knows, crawling backwards, and they say you trip, and then you got one cop to do something stupid before everybody opens fire, not knowing who shot first.
Yeah, it's and again, if you're the cops, I mean, I can't get into their mind. I don't know how many false police reports they deal with to this degree, right? So, I mean, my guess is normally with a deal like this, there's probably actually something going on, and they got to be on alert.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can just turn it off and try to feel a vibe and say, oh, we're good here. They got to be intense. And that's why I'm not blaming the APD, as messy as that situation was. Luckily, nobody got hurt. But absolutely, I mean, if you're out there, you make one wrong move, or there's a miscommunication, or it just so happened, because I was looking at the video too, and I could totally understand where they're coming from. The shorts that I had on, and I guess when I took my shirt off, it kind of got revealed. The shorts that I had on have like a blue area right on the hip. So they were light colored shorts with just like a blue kind of wide stripe on the hip. I mean, if they didn't know any better, I could see them totally mistaking that for a weapon. Mm-hmm. Just by the way it looks, it just looks like something is sitting on my hip because of the way these shorts were designed. So again, it's just anything, any miscommunication, any misreading, any slip of the finger, and the worst happens.
Well, Owen, I say take care. We'll follow it up, and I'm very curious to see what you're going to report, and I'm going to tune in after I'm done. But I say keep on keeping on. I made the joke. Nobody ever looked better getting swatted than you, but you only make the joke to make light of a horrible situation. It's just it ended properly. The cops, did what they had to do. You did what you were instructed to do, and nothing tragic came out of it. When I heard afterwards that the pizza was ordered from the place where, the Papa John's next to Jamie White, I didn't know that they had also ordered pizza from Jamie White. That's capitalizing off a tragedy to further terrorize people for the purposes of this domestic terrorism.
Yeah. And it was after those two phenomenons that I was like, we're really dealing with a psycho here. I mean, we're really dealing with somebody that's psychotic and probably getting some joy out of this wherever they may be. And they might have a lead of where the individual is, but I'll leave that up to law enforcement to announce when the time is right. But I was saying this the night it happened, and I'll kind of say this in closing. Not only are we dealing with, I think, somebody truly deranged that's getting kicks out of this, whatever it is or whoever it is that we're dealing with, it has very high technological capabilities and or access to a huge database of people's information. And like I said, based off kind of some deductive reasoning and cross-referencing some other people's stories and what I've gone through, I think we may have an idea of where they're getting the data. But this appears to be a very skilled hacker that has gotten a very large corporation's data and likely has millions of people's private information, I would guess.
Well, all right. It's not inspiring. Well, I'm going to pull up Pam Bondi's announcement that they're going to go after these people. You got Cash and you got Bongino there, so they have their work cut out for them. And I'm going to play that video. I think I've got the interview with you and.
I'm guessing the Pam Bondi video is from Fox News.
No, the one I'm seeing with you is with. Is it Jason Kelly? Where I see a clip. It looks like your neighbor's house. Here, hold on a second. Let me bring this one up. I'm going to play this one after we're done to. Show everybody. Hold on here. Let me just do this real quick. Share screen. And this is Jason Kelly.
Yeah, Jesse Kelly. Okay, I thought you were talking about a Pam Bondi interview. Yeah, I'm just that's just me taking a shot at her spending most of her time doing Fox News interviews instead of anything real.
I saw that one too. But look, I don't want to. I want to give him a hard time just to make sure everybody's on their toes. But yeah, they've got to start getting down to this. This doesn't. I'd be shocked if this is only one person. To me, it seems like something of an organized organization of people who consider themselves, the fighters of fascism, Nazism, and far right extremism. So,
well, what we know is that the work can be done, and that's kind of going to be what I talk about later today on my show. If there's any excuses like, oh, we can't do this or that, that's total BS. They absolutely can, and now we have it confirmed that they can at the federal and the local level.
Owen, where are they going to find your show after they're done watching me? Or even they can catch up on me afterwards. Go watch Owen. Where are they going to find you?
We're on InfoWars is live on Rumble, restreaming 24/7. You can find me there. My show also airs on my X account at Owen Shroyer 1776. It's also where you can find all the videos that you were sharing of the swatting incident and more. And then if you just want a direct link right to my show feed, owenshroyer.show.
owenshroyer.show. I'm going to link it right now. Owen, we'll be in touch and I'll keep following up with you. But the stay safe is such a sort of patronizing, almost like a silly thing to say. Keep on keeping on and keep up the good work.
Thank you. And really, thank you for keeping this story relevant and covering this. Thank you.
It's unacceptable. I've been in touch with my local law enforcement to see, have they been getting any of these false calls or calls? What can people do? And, also so they know who I am, so that if they show up at the door, they're like, oh, I talked with this guy the other day. It's not that it's scary. It's upsetting. And that it's such an easy system to manipulate with such potentially disastrous consequences. So may Pam Bondi and the new administration start treating this like the domestic terrorism that it is.
Amen, brother. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Have a good one, Owen.